Today we are going to learn how to compare and order decimals. We will locate, compare, order rational numbers using mathematical and real-world examples. So our steps to comparing decimals are lined up below. So we have step 1, you are going to copy the numbers vertically with the decimal points aligned. So if we look here, we have these two numbers that we're comparing and ordering in these examples. And so it is side to side right here. And if you look right here, we lined the numbers vertically and aligned the decimal points. So if you look right here, the decimal points are in order. So then we have step 2, which is to compare. So step 2 is to compare the whole numbers. So if you see right here, the red 5s, it's because we're comparing and they're the same number. So if they're the same number, then we are going to move to the next digit. Okay, so then step 3 is to compare the tenths place. So we have the tenths place, which is that first number to the right of the decimal, which are the 4s. They are the same digit, so we move to the step 4. Step 4 is now to compare the hundredths place. Hundredths place is that next decimal number over, which is the 7s. And again, if it is the same, we move to step 5, which is the thousandths place in this case. And this means that they are different. So we have a 3 and we have a 4. Okay, 3 is less than 4, which is where we see right here that symbol less than. So now we know that 5.473 is less than 5.474, or if we're saying those numbers correctly, 5 and 473 thousandths is less than 5 and 474 thousandths. So let's practice this. We said that we were going to start in the hundredths place, the first step is to line the numbers vertically. So I have 0.36 and 0.76. Okay, so here are my first two numbers that I need to identify. They are the same, so they don't help me. So then I need to move to my next two numbers. They are different, so I'm going to write them, 3 and a 7. Is 3 less than, greater than, or equal to 7? It is less than, therefore 0 and 36 hundredths is less than 0 and 76 hundredths. So just to remind you of our symbols, less than and greater than right there. Okay, so let's move on to number 2. So I'm going to line up my decimals first. Okay, I start at the whole number. I start on the left side. Those are 6s. If they are the same, it can't help us. So then I'm going to move over to the next numbers, which is in the tenths place. So if they're both 5s, they are the same. It can't help us. So then I need to move over to the next numbers. We notice that there's no number right here, right? So I fill in a 0. It's called annexing zeros. That way now I know I have two numbers there. So anytime there's not a number, a 0 is going to be our placeholder. 5, 0. Okay, so comparing, is 5 greater than or less than 0? It is greater than. So 5 is greater than. Okay. Now we have a number line, and we're going to arrange the decimals in order on the number line. Okay, so if we're looking at these numbers and we compare them, I'm not going to put all of them in vertical order lining up the decimals. And the reason why is because if I look at my whole numbers, I have a 3, 3, 1, 2. So if I'm ordering them on the number line, I know for sure that this one's going to go, that's my least number. So I'm going to line them up right here. So that's 1.75. So right here is 1.5, which is 1.5. So this would be 125 and this would be 175. So if we think about quarters, right? So we have a whole dollar here, and then we have $1.50 here. And what's in between $1 and $1.50? That would be, if I just had 1 quarter, I would have $1 and a quarter, which is 1.25, and $1.03 would be 1.75, which is what this is. So this number right here is C. Okay. And then D is 2.12. Can we agree that 1 is the very next number after 0? So that means that it's going to be super, super, super close to 2. Okay. So then I want you to press pause, and I want you to compare A and B, stacking the numbers, and then placing them on the number line. And press play when you have finished. Okay, so you should have gotten A is right after the 3, and halfway would be 3.5, so 3.6 would be a little bit past halfway. Okay, so when I place all my numbers on a number line, right here gives me my order from least to greatest. Okay, so then now we put them in order. So in order from least to greatest is C, D, A, B. Okay, let's move on. Number 4, Mark eats a cheeseburger that is 1.5 pounds of beef. Steve eats a 2.15 pound of beef cheeseburger. Whose cheeseburger weighed the most? So Mark's and Steve's. I'm going to stack the numbers. Okay, looking at the numbers, where do I start? I start on the right or the left? I start on the left, so I'm comparing these numbers. So I have a 1 and I have a 2. Is 1 less than or greater than 2? It is less than. So this is the least number. So who ate more or a bigger cheeseburger? The answer is Steve. Which digit is in the tens place value? I want you to press pause and answer these 2 questions, and then press play when you have finished. Okay, so tens place is that first number right after the decimal, and the hundredths place is the second number after the decimal. So your answer for 5 is 0, and your answer for 6 is 2. Okay. Number 7, which set is ordered from least to greatest? So here's the strategy on this one. You are going to stack all the numbers, and I would just pull from the first set of numbers and then ignore all the answer choices. So I'm going to line up all my numbers. So that was this first number right here. Here's the second number, 5.3210, 5.20, and then 5.299. Remember annexing zeros, so we're going to fill in zeros to all of our place values. Okay, so then now, if you haven't finished, push pause and finish, okay? But now we're going to start on the left. So if I'm comparing, all of those are 5s, so it doesn't help us. So I move to the next number, which is in the tens place. Here, I am going from least to greatest. Least to greatest. So least is what I want first, and I have 2 of them, right? So now that I determined that I have 2 of them, I need to go to the next number of just those 2 numbers. So now I'm comparing a 0 and a 9. 0 is less than 9. so 0 wins, right? So this number is the least, followed by this number. So I'm done with those two numbers. Now I go back to these 3s, right? They were both 3s, so then I need to move on to the next two numbers, which is right here. I have a 6 and I have a 2. 6 is greater than 2, so this is the next number, right? Because we're working least. So I want the least of the two, which means that this is third and this is fourth. So if I'm looking in order right here at my answer choices, can we notice that this one's the only one that starts out with our first number from least to greatest? So then our answer is C. Okay, so I took all my numbers, I stacked them, and I ordered them, and then I found my correct answer. Okay. We do have summary questions. Summary questions need to be written in a complete sentence. Like number 1 needs to be written in a complete sentence. Number 2 is asking you to circle one, so you just circle one. And then number 3 is another complete sentence. All these answers are within your notes. So if you don't know the answer, flip back into your notes, maybe rewind the video and see if you can find the answer. And then you have your questions and key points at the bottom. Make sure you have these in class tomorrow.